All right, class, welcome back. This is section 3.4, and this is all about multiplying decimal numbers together. You can start by writing your name in the top corner and today's date. So multiplying decimal numbers is actually very similar to just multiplying integers, which you've learned in previous years. So we'll just do these two questions here as a quick warm-up. Calculate the following: 12 times 22. Now, one of the ways you might have been taught to do this is to just line up your numbers sort of vertically like this, 12 times 22. And what you probably do is you multiply this first digit here, the ones digit, and you multiply it across the top. So 2 times 2 is 4. And then you multiply it over here. 2 times 1 is 2. And then when we want to move over to our next column, our tens digit, we're going to start the next row down. We're going to move down a row, and we're going to start with a 0 because we're now in the tens column. And we're going to do the same sort of thing. We're going to go 2 times 2. We're going to multiply this way to get 4. And then we're going to multiply 2 times 1 this way to get 2. And then we go along, and since we've multiplied all both the ones digit and the tens digit, now we just add up our total. So 4 plus 0 is 4, 2 plus 4 is 6, and then 2 is just 264, and that's our answer. So as another example here, if we're going to do, let's say 38 times 11, we just line them up like this, and we're going to go through piece by piece, starting with our ones column here, and we start off with 1 times 8 is 8. And then 1 times 3 is 3. When we move over to the next, to the tens column, to the tens digit, then we're going to start off the next line with a 0. And we multiply first by 8, so we get 8. And then 1 times 3 is 3. And then again, we can just add up our totals. So 8, 3 plus 8 is 11, carry the 1, and 1 plus 3 is 4, so our answer is 418. So the only difference with decimal multiplication is that first off, you're going to have to do some estimation. So you're going to round our numbers off to a reasonable integer, and then you're going to just multiply it. And you can round it off so that you can multiply it in your head, or you can do just a quick calculation on the side. So, for example, 1.9 times 2.3. Well, we can round these off. Remember our rules for rounding. If I have 1.9, that's actually really close to 2. And then I'm going to multiply that times 2.3. Well, that's actually pretty close to 2 as well. So I'd expect my answer to be somewhere around 4, roughly. All right, looking at the next one here, 4.25. Remember, all I have to do is look at the next digit over. So if I want to round off to the ones column, I just look at the next decimal over, and that's a 2. And anything 4 or less means I round down, so this is just going to be a 4. And then times 9.11. Again, anything 4 or less means a round down, so that's just going to be 9. And so my answer is going to be approximately 4 times 9, which is 36. Now, even when we get uglier decimals, like in this example here, just remember that it doesn't actually matter. All of these decimal places don't actually matter. All we care about is what's the digit next to the one we want to round to. So if I want to round to the ones column here, all I care about is what's next to that, which in this case is a 2. So 12.2, it doesn't matter what's after that. That's just going to be 12. And our next number there, 8.59, whatever. 8.5, well, that means I round up. So that's going to round up to 9. And you might remember from your times tables that 12 times 9 is 108. So our answer should be approximately 108. So when we're doing multiplications, we can solve multiplication by estimating first. We always estimate first and then calculating. And you'll see that the estimation step, it doesn't take very much time, but it's really, really useful because it's going to let you know whether or not you've got the right answer, or at the very least if you're close. So take a look at these two examples here. 8.7 times 3.4. Well, I can round that off. 8.7 is roughly 9. Multiply that by 3.4, that's roughly 3. So I'm going to expect that my answer is somewhere around 9 times 3, which is 27. Now, when it comes time to actually multiply these, we're going to do the same process that we did back up here at the top, where we line everything up vertically and we go through step by step by step. So I'm going to do 6.7. I'm going to multiply that by 3.4. Now, basically, I just want you to ignore the decimal place, the decimal points for now. They're not going to matter until the end. So we'll just kind of forget that they're even there. We're just going to go through the same process. 4 times 7 is 28. Carry the 2. And then 4 times 8 is 32. Plus 2 is 34. When I move down to the next digit, I'm going to start off with a 0. And I'm going to do 3 times 7 is 21. So there's looks like I carried a 2 again. And then 3 times 8 is 24, plus 2 is 26. And now I just go through and add up all my digits. So 8 plus 0 is 8, 4 plus 1 is 5, 3 plus 6 is 9, and then I've got my 2. So here's the answer I'm sort of left with. I've got to this point and I've got 2958. And all I need to know is, well, where does that decimal place go? Where should it be? And the thing is, we actually should have a pretty good idea where it should go, because remember we estimated, our original guess was that our answer should be somewhere around 27. So all you have to do is look at this number and say, well, where do I put my decimal? Here, here, here. Where should I put this decimal so it's approximately 27? And the answer is you just put it right there. 29.58, that's pretty close to 27. It's a lot closer than, say, 2,958, so I definitely wouldn't put my decimal place over there. Okay, let's look at one more example here. So 2.28 times 15.6. So first off, I'm just going to do an estimation. 2.28 is approximately 2. And 15.6 is approximately 16. So 2 times 16 is 32. Now, one thing that's going to be different about multiplication of decimals compared to addition or subtraction is you don't have to line up your decimal points. So when we set this up, we just do 2.28, and I'm going to multiply that by 15.6. Remember, we're just going to kind of even ignore that the decimal places are there. Just line up your numbers so that each digit lines up with another digit. And then we're gonna figure it out. So we're gonna start off with this first digit here. We're gonna multiply 6 times 8. 6 times 8 is 48. So put the little 4 up there. And then 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 4 is 16, which means I need to carry a 1 over here. And then 6 times 2 is 12 again. Plus 1 is 13. Now when I move to the next row down, and this is going to, I know this is going to get a little complicated. You don't have to draw these arrows all the time, but I just want to show the process. I have to start off, and I have to start off with a 0. So now I'm going to do 5 times 8. And 5 times 8 is 40, which means I'm going to carry a 4 up here again. And then 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. So I'm going to carry another 1 up here. And then 5 times 2 is 10 again, plus 1 is 11. And when I move to the next digit over here, now I need to start off with 2 zeros, and I'm going to do 1 times 8 is 8, and 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 2 is 2. And finally at the end, we're going to add all of these things up. So 8 plus 0 is 8, and 6 plus 0 is 6, and 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 8 is 15. Carry a 1. 1 plus 2 is 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1 plus 2 is 3. So I've got as my answer, looks a little bit ugly at first. My answer here, the digits I've got is 3, 5, 5, 6, 8. There's kind of a lot going on there. But if we go back and look at our original estimate, we know that our answer should be somewhere around 32. And so the question just becomes, where do I put my decimal in here so that I'm really close to 32? And the only place that makes sense, none of these places make sense, like 355 doesn't make sense, and 3.55 doesn't make sense. The only place that makes sense is right there, to make this right around 35, which is pretty close to 32. Now, if after you've done your estimation and your calculation, there's a way to check to see if you got your decimal place correct. I'm just going to go over that real quick. So the way to check to see if we have our decimal in the right place is to do the following. Look at the original numbers. So the original decimal numbers that you were multiplying together. And what you want to do is you want to count the number of digits that occur after the decimal place. So this is key, is that it's the digits after the decimal place in the original numbers. And the total number of digits should be the same in your final answer. So let me do a quick example. Let's go back to what we have right here. So let's go back over here and look at this first one. So this first example, you notice in our original numbers, 8.7 times 3.4, there was one digit there, and there was one digit there. That's a total of 2 digits in the decimal place. Well, look at what we had in our final answer. Our final answer had a total of 2 digits after the decimal. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Over here, we had 1, 2 digits after the decimal in 2.28, and another digit in 15.6. So there's a total of 3 digits. And in our final answer, we've got 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 digits, and 1, 2, 3. So we know we got it right. So estimate, then calculate, and you can always go back and check over with that little trick. All right, that's it for lesson 3.4. Don't forget to do the recap.